Hello, my name is Bård Sandring Store, and I'm here today to speak to you about the effortless way of helping someone. I will have my colleague with me here called Vina, and we're doing these coaching courses together where we help people to help other people in the most efficient, joyful, and effortless way. So she will jump on the call here with me in a second. So yeah, today we will go through topics around exhaustion, chronic fatigue, and just how to deal with, becoming tired from trying to help other people, becoming exhausted by trying to be of service. On Vina now, 1 second. There we go. Hey.
Hey! It worked.
Yes, great. We had some problems earlier. Yes, I just introduced to people what we're doing, and that we're going to speak about the effortless approach today to being of service, to helping people.
So if any of you know what we are doing, and you know about this coach training, or you have seen our videos, we've had a free mini course just now with 4 videos and did some live streams. So if any one of you are familiar with our work, please write yes or no, so we know if where you're at and where we can speak, what we can speak about, or how much we need to go through. So you can just write in the comments.
Nice.
And so like we said, we are doing a coach training program. It's starting on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and
soon.
We just wanted to speak about all the aspects. Last time we spoke about how it feels for the client when you are, like we say, like available, like when you're out of the way, really being there for your client or your friend. And now we're going to speak a little bit about how it is for you and the non-effort approach to work, which has been at least very healing for me. I've been suffering from chronic fatigue for 15 years. And after finding this approach, I can work effortlessly. Also, I've been feeling a lot better, but I feel like this approach really turned my view around on how work can be, because it's not supposed to exhaust you, in my opinion.
Nice.
Or it's possible to not be exhausted by it, and it's possible to really enjoy what you're doing and gain energy from it. When I'm working late at night, I get so much energy, I almost cannot sleep in the evening.
Yeah, to start with that point, the approach that we are teaching is that if you get exhausted, if you feel any sort of drainage through helping people, and we do that through coaching, so when you're coaching people, if you then feel drained in any way, then it's because you're not aligned fully, that you're not actually tapped into them, what they want, and keeping yourself out of the way fully. So yeah, like you're involving yourself too much in some kind of way, which is very normal and totally understandable, because that's what we do as humans. Usually that's what we're conditioned to do. But it's not the most helpful approach if you want to help someone transform and you want to have a joyful time providing that, so to say.
Yeah. So if you find yourself in a profession where you're helping people, or where you are dealing with people in general, if you're feeling exhausted afterwards, just check in with yourself. Like, probably it's one of 2 things. Either you want to help too much, like you really, like, it's not okay if your client is but in a negative way, sort of, because then it's like you have an idea of what needs to be fixed. Like, you want it too much. You're not just open for him or her to change. It's like, oh, you are pushing the momentum forward. You're efforting them into helping. The other thing that it also can be is that you are putting yourself into it. That's a slightly different angle, where it's kind of, you have an idea of where it's going to go and you want it to go in that direction instead of maybe the direction that the client wants to go.
And both of these are typical things that we work with people and help them to clean out. And believe it or not, it takes quite a long time to or quite some effort and quite some willingness in the people that we teach in order to let go of the old approach that they have done. But then when they reintegrate into this new approach, which is really to allow, like the first point you said, to not to let them change themselves and not push them. So when it's just you asserting yourself through being pushy, so they are through being just wanting progression for them, it could just be, wanting to help out. It can be as innocent as that. When you assert yourself in that way, you're actually taking away their opportunity to want to change their own life and just like be the creator of their own life, be at the front seat where they're meant to be not even the front seat, be like the commander, be at the commander deck of their own life and choose that now they want to go in this direction. So to be the engine, to be the decider, to be pretty much everything for themselves. So like to be really effectively of help, it is really effortless because you see how they are already in the position of controlling themselves, and they will always choose if they actually want to change something. And if they want to change something, they will do that in the session with you. And if they don't want to, that's actually their problem. When you have asserted yourself in an open, I was going to say loving way, but you could say like human transcended way.
So in other words, you are disempowering them, and you think you're empowering them by dragging them forward or pushing them forward, but in reality you are disempowering them, because you are saying, without words, you are saying, you don't know your own way. You will not get there by yourself. You need my energy to get forward. That's what you're saying by doing these things. And I know you don't mean it. I know you want to help and you mean it really well and you're exhausting yourself doing it even. But if you listen into your subtle layers and be really honest, what are you telling your client when you're giving your energy to their progression?
Yeah, I think
In my
subconsciously
opinion,
here.
yeah, in my opinion, you're telling them, you don't know the way, you need my help. You need my energy to go forward.
Yes, it's kind of groundbreaking to see this, but look at like which cards you're like, not the cards that you are like showing in their face, not the cards that you're sort of deliberately giving them, but the cards that you are like slipping underneath the table, underneath the, what do you call it? Duke, the blanket on the table. You're like
But they're
sticking them in
brushing
there.
under the carpet.
Yeah, brushing under the carpet,
Yeah.
giving them. And that's disempowering beliefs. It's the only place it could come from is that they aren't capable themselves fully of everything they need.
Yeah. And then again, it's time to ask yourself, do I believe in myself and my ability to go forward and find my own way and have enough energy to go there? You know, if you think they don't, maybe you don't think you have either. Which brings me to my next point, exhaustion. That's what we're talking about today. So can you imagine if you have a client and you're pushing them along against their will or with their will, but they're like fighting you, because that's what we talked about the last session. We talked about how when you are pushing, they automatically go in the opposite direction, so it becomes a clinch, even though it's not really visible always. It becomes some resistance comes there if you really want something. So imagine yourself pushing clients away every day, maybe 3-4 times a day. yeah, you get exhausted. Maybe you're doing it in your personal life as well. Maybe you're thinking, everyone, or like, they need my help, they need me to, they cannot see. I need to do this. Can you imagine the relaxation by just, everything is fine the way it is. People are enjoying themselves even in their misery. They're exactly where they need to be. They have exactly what they need to move forward. And if this thought brings a relief, then that's the contraction you're walking around with.
And not to take away the momentum of you guys trying this yourself, which would be the best, but just to advertise a little bit on the other side, is that like it's just such an effortless, then it's just like the seeing of the joyfulness of like, oh, I thought I needed to help, but then I never could do it. Now I'm not even trying to help, and then I'm doing it somehow. So it's like, oh, this is great. And you can't own it so much. That's sort of the one negative side. But I think for most of you, you actually want to be of help. You actually, somewhere deep inside, you don't want to, uh, not even deep inside, probably consciously too, you want to actually be of help. You don't want to just like proliferate yourself like, yeah, I was helpful. Which it can seem more like you're doing if you're asserting yourself and pushing them and helping them across the next boundary. But then if you're even doing that, like how sustainable would it really be? Look at yourself when someone has done this to you, like pushed something a little bit further in your own process and like, oh yeah, now you're there at the like breaking point, now I'm gonna push you over the edge. And then it's like you help them through like words and through like very kindly probably. But still, when they did that on you, did it really make a sustainable change for you?
Yeah, check in
Did
with
you really
them.
like take the next step in your psyche saying like, okay, I see this doesn't make sense, I see I have to do this now?
Check in with them 3 weeks later, the ones you helped with effort, like pushing them a little bit and like, oh yes. And I had this experience so many times. So many times it's like, oh, and you're like just pushing that little extra just to get them over the edge. And it's so satisfying when it happens. Like, yeah, I helped them. Finally, they're out of their rut. And what happens? Honestly, 3 weeks later, they're back where they started, but with less confidence because they didn't make it. So they're
And
even more back.
possibly some guilt too. If you're asking them, you can notice then it's like, oh yeah, I knew what to do. Like, yeah, you told it to me and it felt right. And oh, but I didn't do it. And like, oh yeah, and maybe I'm not capable. That's the thought that starts creeping in on them. And that's fucked up.
So back to what we are talking about, it's disempowering. All in all, this pushiness, or wouldn't call it pushiness because it's not really visible, but insertion of yourself or like giving them energy to flow on, it's actually disempowering. So the approach that we are teaching, that we're not going to go into now, but it's out online on our YouTube channel and it's also on the Facebook page. It is all about letting go of this control, trusting your client, trusting yourself, trusting in something bigger, and really holding space and making space for a real meeting to happen and a real healing to happen. And we're not going to go through it now, but we wanted to just share the point about, because last week we talked about how much change it's happened in the client or in your friend, but now it's like also on yourself, also this exhaustion, this, we see so many people coming to us and they're like, oh, we really want to help, but I've helped so much all my life, I've been helping so much, now it's time to help myself. Or they have this it's like they have an image of that it is a bit exhausting helping people, like they get drained from it. And we're here to tell you, you
That
don't
doesn't
need to
have
be
to be the case.
exhausted. Yes.
Yes.
We're not going to go into the whole thing, but we just really want to share that it is possible. It is possible. And it is like when you're with a client or when you're with a friend, you let them ride the wave of their own energy. It's like they are going first. and you're just kind of following after with a flashlight, trying to light their way as they're running forward. Really, I remember both told me I was getting into the coach. I had the vacation, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going back to coach now. And I was like, oh, putting on my old cape of like, I have to do some effort or like push them, or just this was something I was going to do. I was going back to work, like, oh. And then I remember you told me like, oh, but let the client have a wave of their own, and like they are dragging it along, that they are going. I cannot repeat it now, but it was super cool, and it made me like relax so much. And all the times when I'm coaching, it's amazing what people pay you for. I almost cannot say it, but it's like, because they have it all themselves.
It's all on their side of the table.
I'm not doing anything. I am providing kind of a space. I am being there fully present with them. I am giving them my time, my presence. But I'm not doing anything. My shoulders are so relaxed, and they are like figuring it out time and time again. And it's so amazing to watch. And it even gives me energy, like the explosion that happens before my eyes when they open new layers in themselves, when they find their way, when they find their potential, which they're doing every session. Every single session there is an explosion where they go one step further, or one step deeper. And that explosion releases so much energy that if I do the session too late, I can't sleep. I'm so excited and happy and energized. And yeah, just look at my face when I'm talking about this. It's like, oh, so actually gaining energy from my work after being exhausted for 15 years, having so many lack beliefs about work and being exhausted, and I cannot do it, I'm too sensitive, I'm too weak, blah, 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 all these stories going on.
Nice. But what you sort of have to put effort into, that we see, that we put so much attention into here now, is the pushiness, where it's very, very good that you actually don't call it pushiness, because people think, oh, I'm not pushy. And that's in a way right, you're not pushy from normal human terms. But we talk about like the minuscule, not even 1% of what you think is pushy. It's like deep inside of your psyche, it's like that you want something to be different. And then something deep inside their psyche resists it. And then you try to work with something. So on top of that plate, built on you deep down in your foundation somewhere, you wanting to change them, or like push, or like something to be different. And they then meet that with resistance, and they don't feel seen and heard, and all these things.
They're like, do you want to change me? Is there something wrong with me? Deep inside it, they feel like, he thinks there's something wrong with me, I need to change.
So the effort you're doing is like carrying yourself extremely aligned with the understanding that you don't have to do anything. And it's like literally not do anything. Like not anything. Not that either, not that either. Not downloading from higher self and telling them that either.
But what you are doing is all the time being neutral, all the time being present, all the time being there for the client. So there is a kind of an ongoing being present.
Could call it an effort, yeah.
Yeah. But the way it feels is relaxing. Every time I remember, oh yeah, I'm present. Oh, like in meditation, every time mind comes in, and then you remember, oh yeah, I can let go, I can relax. And then you relax, but you need to be aware. So there's like a constant awareness. And remembering also to not go like, and by that constant awareness, you're not going into their story, you're not feeling their pain, you're not like buying into their lack beliefs or anything. You see it just as perfect. You understand and you can validate them, you can validate their pain and their struggle very much, but you don't buy into it, and it doesn't drain you, and you don't think it's impossible, because you kind of by that view, you tap into what I would call their perfect health or their perfectness of the situation, like total acceptance, but not beyond acceptance, because it's like perfection. And when you tap into that, maybe that's that space also giving energy and working from that space. Oh my God, what a life.
Yeah, what you guys see now is that even for us it's like unbelievable. So it's like we just try to describe how this can work so much better and how this can be so much more joyful, and we just want to spread that.
Yeah, please let us know in the comments. I see some people watching now. Please let us know in the comments if you recognize this in any way. Do you recognize working with effortlessness, or is it always been an effort working for you? For you to work? How has it been?
And we
Let
talk
us
about
know.
very, very small effort. Like, can you catch that little effort that has been there? Because the answer should be yes for all of you. So if you're saying no, check like a little more subtle. Yeah, it's like the work of staying aligned. It's like the subtle work of staying aligned and open and true, which is not, it doesn't feel like work. It feels effortless because it's in alignment with what you want to do anyway. It's like, it's you. It's, it's more you.
So we have many techniques to tap into this, and we're not going into that now, but check out our YouTube channel. We're going to post a link after the video. Check out our Facebook page. There are some talks about this. Also, if it resonates to learn more about this, contact us. You have 2 days left before the course, but I think we're gonna like an ongoing talking about this, even though we start the course. So you can, I don't know, like the channel and stay updated. But for
Yeah,
now, I guess,
she talks about the YouTube channel. We're gonna start to post more there. So subscribe to that one if you're interested. Nice. Well, that's it.
okay, that's it
Thanks,
for
guys.
today. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
Connect with us if there's anything you want to know more about or less about or whatever. We love we love feedback. We love being in contact with you, and yeah, let us know what is moving in you.
Yes, I would love to hear. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.